Hey everybody, it's Austin Solomon, and today I'm joined by Chris Schock from the City of Wausau on this episode of the Real Wausau Real Estate Show. Today's episode is number 9 already. We were just chatting here in the studio that after this we're going to have more episodes than Star Wars. So very exciting. So Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Austin. I think that means Disney will buy you now.
Yeah. That would be awesome. You know, just some maybe some sponsorship from Disney. That would be great. That'd be great. So, so today's Chris is going to be talking to us a little bit about some of Wausau's grant programs for home buyers and Live It Up Wausau, and just talk to us a little bit about what those look like and what they are. So. Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, sure. Well, I've been in Wausau 5 years, and I live on the East Hill, so in a historic home that we renovated, and it's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm obviously housing is a big part of the city's development strategy, and I think folks can see a lot of different projects going on throughout the city to diversify housing typology. That's kind of our stated goal, and
Nice.
We've been working towards that goal. You see new row houses on 3rd Street, you see new duplexes on Thomas Street, you see obviously new high-end apartments that are unlike any kind of other rental units we've had before at Urban West up
Yes.
on Highway U and at the River Life apartments down on the river, obviously. And we're just now just reviewing proposals for more duplexes and townhomes, especially on the North Riverfront area where the old Great Lakes Cheese Factory was.
Sweet.
So yeah, lots of different diversity.
That's awesome. Yeah. And now that you bring that out, like as you point out those individual things, like even for me, I'm like, oh wow, like that kind of clicks in my head. So that's awesome. Awesome. Sweet. Well, tell us a little bit about Live It Up Wausau.
Sure. So, the city has a variety of programs for real estate shoppers, for folks looking to buy a home in the city. And we have a variety of programs to help homeowners renovate homes. So, there's some different tools. Some of the tools we have are income restricted, meaning that they're for folks with qualifying incomes, lower incomes, and they use federal funds or some different pot of money. But we have programs that are not income restricted as well that are really focused on giving folks the resources they need to to buy homes or to renovate homes. And one of them is our Live It Up Wausau program.
Sweet.
And so we just closed on our 60th loan in our Live It Up Wausau program, which constitutes about $750,000 worth of home lending that the city has backed. We receive donations from our partner businesses, and we have 53 partner businesses.
Nice.
Just yesterday, we acknowledged Associated Bank as our 53rd partner business, but lots of big manufacturers and small businesses too are part of that. They make a donation to the loan pool, and then that loan pool money is lent out to their employees, to employees of those partner businesses to buy homes in the city.
Nice. Sweet. Are you able to tell us on the show like what some of those general, and not maybe the specifics, but what, just so that if a person's like, hey, I make let's say 30 or 40 grand a year, is this something that I could qualify for?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So there's actually a table. It's on our website,
Okay.
at wausaudevelopment.com. You can find it. So it moves by their household size,
Okay.
So depending on how many people are in your household, your income, is moves within that range. But the Live It Up Wausau program, for example, is not income restricted. You
Okay.
really just have to be an employee of a partner business, and you have to buy a home in the city, and then you qualify for a $10,000 zero interest loan. Or $15,000 if you buy a historic home, an old home over 75 years old. And like I said, we've done 60 of those loans already, so there's lots of folks in the city that have already benefited from, from those loan resources. And the final year of your loan payment can be forgiven if you've made physical improvements of the property. So from the city's perspective, we want to encourage you to make improvements to properties, especially older homes, right?
Yep.
In the city, and we want to welcome employees into the city, and we want to kind of connect them to the community, because we know lots of people talk about talent attraction and workforce development as really important keys for regions, and certainly Wausau, but lots of communities talk about that. But one real tangible way that we think we can help address it is by, literally connecting someone to their neighborhood, helping them buy a home. Because if they're vested in the neighborhood, if they feel that they're connected, then they'll stay, and they'll be better connected in the Wausau community as a whole if they're homeowners and they're, really connected. So that's why I think the program is great for employees, and it's great for employers who are trying to attract folks, especially folks from outside the area, because they can say, look, we have this program. It will help you buy your home, with essentially free money, which is always nice.
Right.
Yeah. And the mortgage lenders obviously like it because, it reduces the risk. The city does take a second position on those properties, but it's a second to the primary lender. So it reduces risk for the banks that are involved.
Nice.
And obviously it helps the realtors as well, in marketing their properties and in, especially a home that might need some work and stuff. You say, well, here's some resources for you to help do that.
Right. No, and I've been involved in a handful. Well, I think either one or two. I can't remember. Well, yeah, one or a few. I've helped. There's one buyer specifically that I remember that we helped, and they got a great house that needed a little bit of work, but that was really beneficial for them. And then on the listing side, I know that there's been some buyers on my listings that have taken advantage of the program. So that's good. And can you just restate, so one thing, so it's no interest on that. So it's $10,000 or $15,000, no interest on that.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. And it can be amortized really 5, 10, 12, 15 years, right? Yep. So you can, so that final payment can be, can be more, obviously, if you pay it faster, and that final payment's forgiven, or a little less if you take it out longer. But, we'll work with your primary lender to figure out what the best, kind of payment is that matches your, because you'll be making your payments to the city as well as to the bank, but it is no interest. Yeah.
Nice. And just to put that in perspective, I mean, the first thing that pops into my mind when I hear that is that's kind of like a car payment where, if it's $10,000 or $15,000 with no interest, traditionally, if you have a car loan for 10 or 15 grand, you're probably paying, the interest on that is probably $1,000 to $1,500.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. It's probably $1,000, $1,500 over the course of the 5 years. Plus, in that fifth year, the fifth year, it's when
if you chose the 5 year, then the fifth year would be forgiven your fifth year payment. So
so that could be pretty. I mean, it could be a couple $1,000s that people are saving.
It can, yeah. If you, it could be $2,000 or $3,000 depending if you got the
that's awesome
loans. Yeah.
So it's definitely something that someone, if they're looking. And this is only in Wausau. Got to be in the city.
Yeah, just in the city limits, obviously, because it's a partnership with the city and with our 53 businesses. Yep. And all of those businesses are listed on our website at liveitupwausau.com.
Sweet.
So you can go there. You can look at the partner businesses. And if your business isn't on there, we'd love the opportunity to talk with your HR department or with, your leadership at the business, because we can explain the program. And, word of mouth is one of the best ways that the program has grown.
Right. Absolutely.
It is on a first come, first served basis. So, we have loan funds available, as we receive repayments or as we receive other donations or as the city, adds money to the loan pool. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we've done $750,000 or so of lending already. So that's really great. And we've, occasionally add more money to the loan pool, but it is on first come, first served basis. So, sometimes we're, able to help folks or maybe not, depending on, the time of
Timing.
year or just what the resources are. But like I said, also we do have other programs, which, help with down payment assistance, if you are income qualified or something like that. And we always encourage folks, if you're in the market and you're looking at a house and you're thinking, wow, how would I make that work? Give us a ring at the city, or go to our website, either wausaudevelopment.com or at liveitupwausau.com. You'll see, all of our contacts, and, feel free to reach out to us because we're glad to answer questions and glad to, kind of talk through ways in which the city might be able to help you do some projects, or take on a property.
Right, exactly. And one of the things too is, I know this has came up in the past, is the time to look is before you get too far involved. You don't want to lock down a house and then contact the city, right?
Yes, yeah, we do like folks to. We do want you to make your application to the city, before you make an offer. So really, it's kind of best at the time of your pre-approval or when you're first thinking of getting your financing together, kind of before you intensively start shopping and making offers on properties. So because then we can reserve those resources for you basically, and you can go out and shop, and then the city will bring that check to closing.
Nice. And as we're talking here, I just realized that I have one other person that I'm working with right now that's that's securing funds from the city. So
that's
I
great.
just was thinking about that I was just sending something to the city, the offer docs yesterday over to the to you guys. So
that's great. Well, the real estate professionals have been great advocates for the program. Obviously, we're really appreciative of the different organizations and different realtors who've been great evangelists like yourself, who advertise the program, who talk about it, and who, help their customers, access, these different programs. I can't stress enough that we can be very creative in helping folks take on a project. We even have resources for, like, for example, rental rehab programs and things like that. So even if it's not your primary home, but you're looking at buying a rental property, but it needs a lot of work, we do have certain pots of money to help with those as well, because we know those are big issues, and we're glad to help in that regard.
Yep. And obviously, like you said earlier on, is the goal is we want, like, when someone comes from out of the area, they want to drive through Wausau and to say, wow, like, this is a well-maintained area. This is a cool place to be. And it really is a great spot. I mean, we have a lot of stuff going on for us here, and we want to make it as appealing as we can for the people that live here too. So
sure, and obviously, like, code enforcement and zoning and things like that, those are traditionally, like, kind of a stick approach, right, to keeping neighborhoods in good shape, telling folks, hey, you've got to follow the rules, you've got to do a good job maintaining your property. And we do that at the city too, but I think it's always great to talk about the carrots that we have as well,
For sure.
the other side, and we do have lots of carrots that can help folks, renovate properties or purchase properties, because that's what lots of cities do. But I think Wausau does, has taken it a step further, especially with our Live It Up program, which has, been a model across the state. We've actually modeled and helped start similar programs, which we kind of call homesteading programs, right? Because it's like welcoming employees into the community. And we helped start a similar program in Menominee on the west part of the state, which is up and running now, and a similar partnership modeled exactly after our program. So pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, expand the, take other good ideas to other areas. Right on. Well, as we wrap up here, Chris, anything else going on in the city that our viewers and stuff might be of benefit for them to know? Anything about the River Project or anything that you think would be of benefit to have on the show here? Yeah,
sure. Well, last year was another very high year for construction across the city, near record, all-time high year, and housing starts were also strong. So we've been, we're always looking for ways to look to expand subdivisions in the city because there aren't a lot of lots left in a lot of cases. And we've been working with a few developers. We're excited to see that come to fruition in the next couple, likely months, which will be really great to see that. And I think you'll continue to see a lot of opportunities for urban infill, where there are, underutilized lots or areas or old industrial areas along the river. You'll see a lot more interest in, especially in housing and especially in different types of housing, whether it's rental or for purchase or whatever. We're trying to diversify housing type across all the income spectrums. We've done affordable units. We're looking to do affordable units, for example, at the old Ponderosa Motel on Grand Avenue. We renovated Savo Supply, which was an old warehouse on First Street over there, into affordable apartments, and we're providing a loan for the big renovation of the Landmark apartments, the old Wausau hotel, likely in 2021, which will be, we're really great to see. But those units will be, a portion of those units will be held affordable, to ensure that they're, accessible to, to folks that need them. So, we're trying to diversify housing type across the spectrum, adding more high-end properties, adding more, high-end rental, adding more for sale urban options, because we hear all the time from folks about how they're looking to, they might be interested in downsizing, from a larger house, but they'd like to still be a homeowner, and they'd like to be in the urban area, so it's walkable and stuff, but they need to find the right property. And so I think that's what'll continue driving some of that townhome development that you'll see in the city, as well as, all these new types of housing, which help diversify our competitiveness, within attracting workforce and in attracting investment across the state.
Sweet. Well, thanks again, Chris, for taking the time and being on the show. If people need to contact you, probably best way is to go to liveitupwausau.com or
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just look at our website and contact our staff. We're, really glad to help. liveitupwausau.com has links to everything, so including kind of the other programs as well, if it's not Live It Up. But, sometimes folks will hear about it, the Live It Up program, because it has a cool name and it's, it's well branded. And they contact us, and maybe they don't necessarily fit or something with that program, but we might have another program, and so we're glad to have that dialogue and see what fits.
Awesome. Well, Chris is here to help. Thanks again for being on the show, and we'll catch you around town.
Thanks, Austin, for your awesome championship of Wausau.
Right on.